So not only DEI was here to stay at that university, but they've rebranded it, and she says they are funded by Apple.
The only thing that still shocks me is how open they are with us, because we only meet these administrators for 5 or 6 minutes, and they quickly brag to us about breaking state laws.
It was, in fact, your undercover video that helped prompt that civil rights investigation at ASU. This is now the 8th Arizona State employee your team has recorded suggesting DEI is still very much alive there.
And we see this across the country, not just in Ohio and Arizona, but in deep red states like Florida. We see it in North Carolina, Indiana, Utah, even Kentucky.
Universities across the country say they've complied with new laws rolling back DEI, but undercover video shows some schools may have just changed the name on the door.
DEI is so okay to be in my curriculum. I really like, it's such a huge part of communication that I'm like
100%, and we definitely, I mean, they did change the title just a bit, but we do have the Office of Idea that is very much incorporated into our school, and they somehow were protected now that the new regulations are happening in many universities.
That undercover video recorded at Arizona State University, now under investigation by the Trump administration along with Ohio State for alleged civil rights violations. And joining us now with his undercover investigation is President of Accuracy in Media, Adam Gillette. Good morning to you, sir. Great to see you as always.
Thank you for having me.
It was, in fact, your undercover video that helped prompt that civil rights investigation at ASU. This is now the 8th Arizona State employee your team has recorded suggesting DEI is still very much alive there. At what point does this stop looking like a handful of employees and start really looking like university policy?
Well, that's exactly what we say, because they always dismiss it and claim that it's just one bad apple. But as you pointed out, it is a rotten orchard. And we see this across the country, not just in Ohio and Arizona, but in deep red states like Florida. We see it in North Carolina, Indiana, Utah, even Kentucky. These radicals do not care about the law. They only care about collecting your tax dollars as a paycheck to push their ideology.
Your investigation at Ohio State not only talks about it, but shows it is being funded privately. I want to take a look at some of this undercover video you captured right here. Let's take a good listen.
They're still doing things. Equity, we have a lot of grants for equity and access and equity and education. Since they're funded by Apple, they haven't been cut, right?
Okay.
Because they're grants and it's corporate money. So there's still stuff going on. It's just more quiet.
So not only DEI was here to stay at that university, but they've rebranded it, and she says they are funded by Apple. That's why they haven't been cut, because it's corporate. Was this surprising to hear? Is this the same playbook you're finding it at other universities as well?
Unfortunately, it's never surprising anymore. The only thing that still shocks me is how open they are with us, because we only meet these administrators for 5 or 6 minutes, and they quickly brag to us about breaking state laws, about ignoring the federal executive order. What wrongdoings might we learn about if we spent 6 months undercover? Imagine being so comfortable in your job security that you will talk to a stranger who you met moments ago and brag about breaking the law. These people are shameless. They are relentless. They care only about pushing their anti-American agenda into every facet of education.
I want to ask you about Ohio State's medical school admissions office, because the Justice Department is investigating that office for possible race discrimination. And some of it's because of this next clip, too. Let's take a listen to this.
Because of the law, we had to change signs and centers that were centers specific to one group. Those closed, or they changed them to common, so that whites are there too. You know, not just the underrepresented. They brought the people with the privilege there too.
Yeah. So he still will learn. My son would still learn DEI, and it's as part of his curriculum and intersectionality.
Yes.
So he's still going to learn DEI as part of his curriculum and intersectionality. The fact that the Justice Department has asked for your footage really shows how serious this investigation has become. What has been the school's response to these videos?
Well, Ohio State has said nothing. They did privately later reach out to us and request the entire raw footage. And we said, we're happy to share it with you. In return, we'd like a 5-minute interview with the president or the provost at the date or time of their choosing. And they entirely ghosted us. And when I followed up, they bemoaned that they wanted to include our footage in the response to the Justice Department. I said, no problem. We'll cut out the middleman. We'll send it to them directly. Because they're clearly not honest brokers. That woman works in the office of the president. These are the peoples at the highest levels of America's publicly funded institutions, and they care about nothing more than pushing anti-American nonsense, as I said, into every facet of education. And now it's not just in education schools, it's not just in social work, but we're increasingly seeing it in medical schools.
All right. Did somebody actually also say that that was AI? Did one of the universities also claim that what you guys had done that was completely artificial intelligence, it wasn't real?
Yeah, I went back and confronted her, and she said, that's not me, it's AI, which was just hysterical, I guess. She was just desperate for a response. She was the first person to make that claim, probably won't be the last. But I will say, in the Ohio State response to the Justice Department, I don't think they doubled down on that claim.
And while these universities are under federal investigation and obviously could risk losing federal funding, it is your stance that firing 1 or 2 administrators is not enough. If the goal is to actually remove DEI from public universities, then what needs to happen next?
Every state needs to enact a Florida-style DEI ban which prohibits educators from promoting identity politics, from promoting the notion that America is systemically racist. And I'm incredibly excited to say that in the past week, North Carolina and Kansas did exactly that. And these bills need to also go a step further and include both a reporting mechanism and actual legal penalties for breaking the law. What use is having a law if there are no consequences for breaking it?
President of Accuracy in Media, Adam Guillette, thanks for joining us this morning. We appreciate it. Have a good one.
Thank you for having me.